Okay, can we talk about something for a second? Because I know I'm not the only one who has noticed this. There's just something different about watching Michael Dappa and Chinenye Nnebe together on screen. Like, it's not loud, it's not over the top, it's not even trying too hard to impress you, but somehow it pulls you in. And before you even realize it, it's happening. You're already invested, you're already watching them a little more closely than everyone else in the scene. And you are wondering, what exactly is this feeling? Like, because let's be real, we've seen a lot of Nollywood parents. Some are good, some are okay, and some you just watch and move on. But there are those rare ones where you pause, where you pay attention, where you start replaying scenes in your head later. And honestly, that's what happens with Micheal Dappa and Chinenye Nnebe. Their chemistry doesn't fight for attention. It doesn't beg you to notice it. It just quietly grows on you. And that's what makes it feel so unique. You know what stands out first? The way they talk to each other. It doesn't feel like two actors delivering lines. It feels like a conversation, like real people who are actually listening, actually reacting, actually feeling what the other person is saying. And that's everything. Because when dialogue feels real, you stop focusing on the script, you start focusing on the connection. Let's look at their energy. Here's something a lot of people don't notice. Some on-screen couples feel like they are competing, like one person is trying to outshine the other. But with them, there's none of that. No pressure, no unnecessary intensity, just balance. Michael brings a calm, grounded presence, and Chiney meets him there with this soft emotional depth. And instead of clashing, it blends effortlessly. Let's talk about the eye contact. Because this is where things get very interesting. It's not random, it's not empty, it feels intentional. Like every look carries meaning. Michael looks at her like he's trying to understand her, not just admire her. And Chineye, she doesn't rush her reactions. She let the moment sit, and suddenly that simple exchange becomes something deeper. Let's talk about their chemistry. This is probably the best way to describe it. Their chemistry is quiet, but it's strong. It's not the type that screams for attention. It doesn't rely on dramatic moments or exaggerated emotions. It lives in the subtle things, the pauses, the tone, the way they stand close without doing too much. And somehow, that quiet connection feels stronger than something loud. Let's talk about the small moment that makes them feel important. You know, those scenes that are not even supposed to be special. Just normal conversations, simple interactions, nothing dramatic, but somehow, when it's them, those scenes feel so different. You start paying attention, you start noticing the little details because they don't rush through moments, they allow them to mean something. Another thing you can't ignore is how comfortable they seem. There's no stiffness, no awkward pauses that feel out of place. Everything flows. And that comfort makes their scenes feel believable because real connection is not always dramatic. Sometimes it's just easy. One thing that's very important, because a lot of actors think romance means intensity. But not everything has to be intense, and they understand that. They don't overreact feelings, they don't exaggerate reactions, they keep things controlled, and somehow that restraint makes everything feel more real. Timing is everything in chemistry. Knowing when to speak, when to pause, when to react, and they get it right. Not in a calculated way, but in a way that feels natural to the moment. Nothing feels rushed, nothing feels delayed. Everything just fits. At some point, you stop watching them as actors and you start believing the story. You start feeling like these characters actually have history. Like there's something beyond what the script is showing you. And that's when you know the chemistry is working because it pulls you into the story without a single effort. There's something interesting between Michael Dappa and Chinenye Nnebe. Their chemistry makes you curious. You want to see what happens next. You want to understand their connection. You start asking questions like, Why do they feel so real together? And that curiosity keeps you watching. When they get closer in scenes, it doesn't feel dramatic. It doesn't feel staged. It feels so simple, like something that just happened in the moment. And that simplicity is what makes it believable. Nothing about their interaction feels forced, and that is very rare because even good actors sometimes push movement too hard. But here, everything feels like it's happening at its own pace. No pressure, no rush, just connection. You don't even realize when it happens, but suddenly you are focused on them. Even in scenes with other characters, they don't demand attention, but they naturally draw it. And that's a different kind of presence. If you compare their chemistry with other Nollywood couples, you'll notice something. Their chemistry doesn't follow the usual pattern. It's not built on big dramatic moments. It's built on consistency, on small believable interactions, and that's what makes it stand out. So now I want to ask you, have you noticed it too? That quiet connection, that effortless energy between them? Or is this one of those things you feel but can't explain? Let me know your favorite scene because honestly, with these two, they're always that one moment you keep replaying.